Turn the
Thank you, Penny.
hello, hello, hello.
Ta-da!
Hello.
Okay,
Hey,
hello.
Hi, I'm Chip.
Hi, Chip.
Hey,
Glad
how
you
you
could
doing?
make
where's the old
I'm-
block? Chip,
it.
I'm sorry. What? Yes.
where's the old block?
You chip off the old block?
Yes.
Yes. You know what? The first time I heard chip off the old potato, I almost fell down.
That one happened.
But that's the first time I've heard. That's the first time I've heard that one, Ron.
Okay. Happy New Year.
Hey, you too. You too.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year, Mr. Carter.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm
Happy
still
New Year.
admitting- I'm still
Ladies and
admitting
gentlemen,
people.
we're taking account here, and the count so far is 42 people and 3 adults. Could that be right?
Sounds right to me.
All the adults, raise your hands. I see 2 so far.
Yeah, not me. I'm not raising
no,
my
no,
hand.
that doesn't count. No, no.
Simone, you good for you.
You
I
want to
like
write? No, you're too young. Who else is coming? Who else? Raise your hand.
Right.
Okay.
Part-time
Penny?
adult here.
Penny, count us off.
Hello, everyone. Hello,
Alrighty,
hello.
so I'm going to ask everyone, if you don't mind, to mute yourselves. And
Okay.
then so we don't hear background noise and all that. And then when you want to ask a question, definitely unmute. And okay.
Should I put my question in the chat?
Yes, type your questions in the chat, please. We will get to absolutely as many as we can. So I'm going to start with one from someone who could not be here, but asked his question. And his name is Todd Cummings. And his question is, what part has spirituality played in your musical journey? Not in the sense of religion, but in the sense of channeling something beyond yourself.
Todd, is it Tom?
It is Todd Cummings.
Todd with 2 D's.
Yes.
You know, as a bass player, I think one of the things that we are held accountable for and are expected to do is to be able to meet everyone's mind in the band while we're playing. My job is to figure out what the next chorus is going to sound like by the trumpet player, or how will the piano player comp for the next tune, or are we playing the tempo too fast for the drummer to sound comfortable? These are kind of spiritual things I think you were leaning toward, but using a different kind of word. I think when my students take these gigs for the first time and ask me what should I think they should do, I tell them, leave your ego at home and bring some spare ears. I kind of live by that religious bent, and that I expect them to have that kind of skill level when they start to work in the real world. Some of my friends, as you may have heard, and the late Wayne Shorter and Buster Williams and Richard Davis, immediate friends, they were really Buddhist enthusiasts. Maybe Chick Corea was, I'm not sure. And they were leaning heavily on that as part of their spirit in making this music work. I'm not there with that religious overview of what I do, but I understand that there's a higher power at play, and we hope that he shows up on all our gigs.
Okay. We have a question.
Todd, you awake? Todd?
Excuse me? Todd, no, Todd couldn't be here, so that's why I
Okay, wake up,
asked
man.
his
Okay,
question. Yeah, no, he's gonna watch the video and
okay,
we try to get everybody's questions in.
okay.
Chip, hello again, Chip, asks, how do you think differently with or without drums?
Right.
The first thing I did was subtract the number of ideas I had to be concerned with. The
I'm sorry,
drummer
what?
has to,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I remember that now without drummers, I have one less concept to be concerned with.
Interesting. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
And the second thing is one less volume to be concerned with.
I
I try to go in there and tell the drummer, if he's a friend of mine, that the band volume number may be 4. The drum solo cannot be 5. And I've offended some guys who think that's a terrible idea. So I explained to them guys, well, you're in the wrong band. That's a great idea.
Love it.
So far, I've retained their friendship. But I'm watching them carefully when they drive away from the gig, and my car is not next to theirs.
Oh my goodness. That's terrific. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Nick Schneider wants to know how tall Bill Evans was.
I only saw Bill Evans most of all sitting like this. So I could tell you he was like 4 inches from the keyboard, as far as I could figure his height. He was shorter than I was in any event.
Well, that's most people are. Okay. Okay, Noah says he's been doing a deep dive into the album The Real McCoy. Has wonderful things to say about it. I was wondering if you could share some of the ideas you had when creating that bass line and how you're playing compliments and highlights the conversation happening between McCoy and the rest of the band.
Who's in the band? Was that the Joe Henderson band?
That was The Real McCoy. Noah, who
Who was
else
the
is in the
personnel?
band?
I
Yeah,
can't
I think
remember.
that was Elvin Jones
Jones
and Joe
and
Henderson.
Henderson. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was curious specifically about like Passion Dance. That song has been kind of like a focal point of mine over the last few weeks, and I was curious just if you had any tips on that.
I think that's the tune where the rap guys took my solo out of that one track for one of the big hip hop big hits. They picked that part of the solo for their.
Yeah.
Maybe you weren't here last month. Shame on you. And that'll add
Don't
your
say
name
that.
to
He'll
the
be
list.
afraid to come back.
No. I'm adding his name to the list of the 2 adults in this conference here. One of the McCoy story, those of you who have heard it, you can laugh in advance. In making my first record with McCoy, we took a break, and I was upset that I wasn't getting through because of McCoy's piano style. So on the first break we could, I asked him, could he come outside for a minute and just have a chat? We got Rudy Van Gelder's got birds and trees and all that shit hanging around outside. And I said, McCoy, I see you playing the Steinway piano. I said, yeah, man, that's a great times 3 piano. I said, well, McCoy, if you can help me out by not playing past the S. And he understood that doing that wiped out all my notes below open A. And once we agreed on him not limiting my range of the bass with one comic line, that became my 40-year, 45-year joke whenever I'd see him. He said, Ron, I'm playing to the T. Is that okay? I said, yeah, let's go to work. It was that lighthearted attempt to make the band still feel we're in the same group. And we're all the same skill level and experience level. I wasn't trying to downplay my importance. I was to let them know that I'm the only bass player in this band. And to make this work, you guys got to sound like you understand that I'm the only bass player in this band. And once we got over that leveling up of personalities and music, we had a great time. Excuse me one moment.
People with your hands up, I will get to you. So keep them up. I see you.
Penny, we also have someone who doesn't have their mute
Yeah,
on.
somebody isn't muted. We're hearing a lot of,
Maybe, yeah.
but everybody make sure you're muted. We're just hearing background noise from somebody.
I'm back, and there was someone who bought the record and said, what a great bass solo that was.
All right. You should have given the meeting invitation.
He said that two adults at a time is more than he can handle.
More than enough, right? Okay. Jonathan Smith.
Penny?
Okay, somebody is, please, everybody
Penny,
mute yourselves.
I think it's Mr. Miles Wick, and I believe he may have just turned on his. There you go. That might be it.
Okay,
Okay.
Mr. Wick,
Thank
you
you,
have
Mr.
a
Wick.
consultation coming up.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Okay, so Jonathan Smith asks, how do you start your day? What do you do in the first half hour after you wake up?
Depends on what day it is. My in my rehabbing, as I've been doing this for about 36 years, it seems to me, I have a trainer who comes to my home every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5 a.m. 5 a, not EH, 5 a.m. And so my first thing in the morning is put on my pajamas at 4:30 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sundays, I sleep in late until 7:15. That starts my day. I do that weekly with one E, no, two E's.
And Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, even if you were playing
Absolutely.
the night before and didn't get home
Absolutely.
until 1 or 2 a.m.,
That's
you
correct.
still get up and do that.
Yes, yes. My body demands that.
Thank you.
My body says you're welcome.
Yeah, right. Tony Marino, how was the session with Horace Silver on the Hard Bop Grandpa? His friend Claudio Roditi
Roditi,
played on
yeah.
the session.
Yeah. Well, my Horace Silver story, my footnote is that I met Horace in Rochester, New York in 1958 when he had the band of Teddy Kotick and Art Farmer and that band. And at the time, this was just before his release came out, where one of the songs was No Smoking. Because I'm like a junior in college with a house band. I'm a junior at Eastman School of Music, and I go to the jazz club in Rochester, New York called Squeezer's Bandbox. After intermission, I asked Mr. Horace Silver, Mr. Silver, do you have a lead sheet to that song, No Smoking? And Horace looked at me, not condescendingly, but not amazed. No, just buy the record when it comes out. And my footnote to the footnote is that I made Horace's last 4 records. So I told him, I don't need that sheet after all.
Okay, let's take a hand raise. Mr. Favara.
Yes, thank you. Happy New Year, Ron. Good to see you.
Thank you. Same to you and yours.
Thank
What's
you,
up?
sir. Hey, I wanted to ask you, you did a lot of touring in 2023. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What were some of the top musical things that you learned that were new? Because every time you tour, the goal would be to have some new takeaways. What can you say regarding that, sir?
I returned last month from a tour of Europe, 12 concerts in 15 days. The amazing thing was, ladies and gentlemen, that I had a different bass for every concert. So I learned to play the bass better 12 times in 15 days. No one needs to know that it wasn't my bass, and no one actually gives a darn. We paid for X number of months for this guy to do what he does, and my job is to, as best I can, not just meet their expectations since they paid for it, but I'm playing with 3 other guys and gals who expect me to deliver for them too. I take that away from each concert, and it's always a little bit different, a little more, a little less, a little intense, a less intense. But I think I learned how to play the bass better after these 12 concerts were done.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Always good to see you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Bortoluzzi.
Hi.
Yes.
Thank you for this opportunity. And
You're welcome.
I want to ask you, for you, what's the big difference? What's the difference? What are the skills that difference normal bass player from a great, fantastic double bass player?
I didn't get all the question. What's the difference between me and somebody else?
No, like what are the skills that differentiate a really good double bass player from a normal bass player?
What are the skills that
Okay.
differentiate a really great player from just a regular player?
Ricardo, that's a very difficult question to answer for 2 reasons. I need to see how the other bass player plays to tell you how differently we see the bass. And 2, I would hope that I catch him or her on their best day to have a fair chance to see what exceptionally do they do occasionally. I'm speaking now as a teacher, not a bass player.
Mhm.
I want to see what skill levels do they have? How
Okay.
can they improve their skill levels?
Mhm.
Can I help them improve their skill levels? What's their feeling about their skill levels?
Mhm.
Those are things that separate those kind of players, whoever they are, from wanting to
Mhm.
get better at their skill if they understand that their skill is below a certain level.
Mhm.
Then I
Okay.
invite them to my gigs
Mhm.
and tell them this is how this is based through my windows.
Mhm.
And we'll
Okay.
see how receptible they are to that kind of contrast and styles and abilities.
Okay.
And we'll see where it goes.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Like, Nicholas, Ricardo,
Yep.
Yes.
what's your age?
Oh, I'm 13.
13?
Yes.
Okay, well, you don't qualify one of the adults in the room, so you can hang around a little bit longer.
Okay.
Flo is asking, what advice do you have for young musicians who want to pursue a career in jazz, especially a bassist?
Get a teacher, learn some harmony on the piano, and get a teacher. I think with those three things, you have a great start of understanding what your responsibility can be, what your growth is, what areas you need to really grow in. And if you have the discipline to follow those three recommendations from a guy that's probably 3 times your age, you got a good start of being a professional bass player.
Ori Hershansky asks, what are you looking for when playing with the new drummer?
One, how does it tune the bass drum? Two, if he has a hole in the bass drum head. Three, what kind of high-pitched snare drum does he have, like a piccolo pitch snare drum? How many rivets he has in all his cymbals? How long does the sound sustain when he plays on the cymbals? Does he play with mallets all the time? Heaven forbid. Does he have any of those Hollywood drumsticks, look like a set of pickup sticks, like a broom on the right cymbal? And does he know what a bass player can do? Does he feel self-sufficient that he'll need to hear me to help him sound good?
Thank you very much, Mr. Carter. Thank you very much.
All right, that's a big list, but that's what I've been doing for a long time, and no drummer sold this drum set you're playing with me, so I guess I did some right things.
Maestro, thank you very much. It's been an
You're
honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I'm not going to mispronounce this person's name, but it's spelled Horia. And they ask, what do you remember best about Wes Montgomery? How was Wes as a leader?
Horia.
That was perfect pronunciation. Hi, Mr.
Okay,
Carter.
I'm glad I didn't try.
No, that was perfect. Yeah.
Thank you. His mom is sitting right next to him to tell me how to say it right. That's why they have
Gotcha.
Wes was a very shy person. And because he wasn't comfortable flying, unfortunately, many people outside the boundaries of the States did not get a chance to hear him play live. And I regret that they didn't get a chance to hear a really great guitar player live. Secondly, he trusted my judgment. And he never questioned my notes. He never questioned my intonation. He never questioned why I played one. A footnote to this story is that we were doing one of his last two records with Creed, Taylor CTI, and we were doing the song Georgia. And like most A&R than Creed, we always want to have a second take just in case. I hate that kind of conversation. So, but I'm professional, so I keep my mouth shut. Except this time. And after this tune, George, Creed said, "Okay, one more time, guys." I said, "Creed, it will get no better than this." And I put the bass. I wasn't going to play it anymore. It was the first time I'd done that, and probably the last time. I was just so incensed that he would think that we could play better than that. I thought that as good as we were, we reached our level on this piece immediately. It had to only go down from there. And he trusted my judgment. That's a great track on the record, man. The record sounds great, and that song with that background kind of guarantees that my feeling was correct.
Great stuff. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Right.
No, this was amazing. Yeah. I was thinking about so much guitar. Right.
Yeah.
Like your bass playing. That's actually how I know your bass playing from Twisted Blues. You know, the groove after the solos. So yeah, hearing this from you, just fantastic. Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome. Have a continued good year.
You too. Have a great one.
Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Billy, how do you prepare for a new engagement, either for the studio or concert?
Depends what the library is. Depends on how far it is away from my home. Depends on whether I know the studio and engineer. It depends on when it is. It depends on how much music we're looking at, how much studio time is booked, and if they have music for me to play that they want me to look at in advance, have they sent me the music in advance? Other than that, I go to these gigs with my ego at home and an extra pair of ears.
Okay. Daryl Winsman asks, did you know Don Sleet before you recorded with him? And what are your memories of working with him?
This my sock broker. Hold on 1 minute.
Okay. Okay, keep those hands up. I'll get to you. Promise. Oh, your question also, Mr. Winsman, is also about Chet Baker. So I'll tell him that. Let me see if there's something I know the answer to, but you guys have really good questions here. I can't really. Okay, Mr. Drotos, I'll get to your question. Oh, these are really good, guys.
I know, I really love it. I like how do you feel about playing without an amp? We can answer that one. We hear him dialogue about that.
Yes, go ahead, Simone.
The idea is no. Let's just put it simply, absolutely not. The amp is a crucial part of finding what he needs to find in the notes, and he's always believed that. And it keeps developing as he moves along. He's very verbal about that with all of us around him. So that was Tony Ventura.
Okay, Maestro, you back? No.
Still has his mute on. I hope it's not one of the grandchildren.
Right. Well, then they need to come in the Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, but I can tell you, Mr. Winsman, about he'll have to talk about Don Sleet, but Chet Baker was played on his Patrao album. And he said he had a wonderful experience with him. He showed up on time. He did everything he was supposed to do. You know, whatever reputation he might have had otherwise, absolutely, Mr. Carter did not find that at all. All righty. Looking for more questions we can answer. Ooh, I like that one. Okay.
I'm back, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Thank you. Sorry for the interruption. I have to turn my phone off, and turned down all gigs for the next hour.
Okay.
Is the market
Who knows?
crashing
Who
on
knows
us?
what we're missing
Excuse me?
now? Who knows what we're missing now?
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay, Don Sleet. Did you know him
Yes.
before recording with him, and what was it like?
I didn't know him before, and unfortunately, he passed away shortly after that recording. That record is Kenny Washington's favorite record for two arco bass solos that I took on that record. That record had Wynton Kelly on piano, Jimmy Cobb drums, and I think Jimmy Heath on saxophone. I think the record may be called All Friends or something like that on the Orange Keep News label, Riverside. It's a wonderful record. Don was a really incredible player, and unfortunately, he got caught up in the substance abuse and didn't survive it. I met his sister down through the years, and she said what an enjoyable experience that was to make that record in New York for those four other musicians. And to his last breath, he enjoyed that spirit happening for him. The record's called All Members, and on Riverside. Hold on 1 minute.
It's on, I don't know if you've all taken a look at Mr. Carter's discography, but that record is on there. If you go to roncarterjazz.com, the discography is the first thing. And if you type in Don Sleet, you'll see it. Great
Thank you,
camera work, Maestro.
Yeah.
Shashank Das asks, Maestro, could you please talk about your experience recording the music of Sam Rivers?
Sam was much more inside the player than people acknowledge, because Sam could sound current, meaning back in the day outside, and free, as guys misname that style of music. But Sam was he was a free spirit. He's a lovely person. He had a lot of original ways of doing things. I think one of the things I enjoyed most of all was Sam's ability to twist a melody so that it sounds like Sam had written it. However you can explain it other than that, I don't know. But he really played melodies in his own fashion. And I enjoyed the discipline that I had to instill in myself, not to let his way of influencing the melody from his view, from influencing the melody from my view as I'm trying to accompany him as best I can. He always played in tune. He was always conscious of having a good reed that he wasn't using for the moment. He was always one of the adults on the bandstand, so to speak. And I didn't realize he had passed away until much time had passed, or I certainly would have made a point to give him my private prayer to the next place he was headed. Sam Rivers. Miss him. And his wife, B.
Ali Starker, you have your hand up. Ask your question, please.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Carter.
How are you?
What?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
For the time of day and a guy my age, I'm doing pretty good.
It's a pleasure to speak to you.
Okay.
My question is, what are the top things that you think that have made you a great bassist and the most recorded bass player?
I can't answer all of those questions, Ali, because those questions you got to ask those 2,000 people who made records, who were lead on records I made. So, and my ego doesn't allow me to tell you that kind of answer out loud. Having said that, I think one of the things that I bring to the record date is professionalism. I'm always there on time, if not a half hour before. I always make sure my bass is playable. I mean, there's it's not out of shape, it's not cracked up, the old strings. I always make sure that if there's a chance to get music in advance, I ask for it. I can always come to the date looking really nice. I'm prepared to stay as long as it takes for the date, and I don't mind going overtime if the music demands that kind of extra attention. When my clock stopped, let's get this record done. We can, however it takes, let's do it. Let's not talk about those not important things like, do we get paid for overtime? Well, not this time. I don't care. Let's get this music straight. And I think it's a level of integrity I bring to the room. I've been quoted as the person who, when I walk in the door, the music's intellectualism and integrity goes up 45%. I think it's a little more than that, but I'll take his number. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Thank you very
Okay.
much, Maestro.
You're welcome. Have a good afternoon.
Ms. Seiler.
Yes.
Hello, Maestro. How are
Give me a
you?
high pitched voice out there. Thank you.
Yes,
How
and first
can
of
I
all,
help you?
I want to thank you and Penny for always being responsive to my questions when I'm working on articles and everything. So appreciate it so much.
Okay.
My question, as we know that you started out playing the cello when you were in public school, and then you evolved to the bass because of what you originally wanted to do with the cello. But then we've also been able to learn that you have played the electric bass with James Brown. And so at this point in your life, in your career, do you have, I know you still have a cello, you have your bass, but do you have an electric bass at your home? And if you do you just play it sometimes for the hell of it?
Brenda, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine,
Okay.
Maestro.
Okay. Two things now. We've got 4 adults in the room. I have 2 electric basses. One of them a gift from Stanley Clark and Lenny White, and the second one a gift from Marcus Miller. The one I used to have was owned by my son, who's in Boston. So I don't take it out to amaze myself and fool the people, because I'm trying to learn how to play the upright still. And when I get a handle on that, then I'll take it out.
Thank you. I had a chance to interview Stanley Clark the year he became an NEA Jazz Master. So that is amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Got a little plaque on the back. Birthday greetings from Stanley and Lenny.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Al Cunningham asks, was there a point in your career when you realized you were making a major contribution to the music?
Mr. Cunningham, how are you?
Glad to be here, Maestro, and glad to see you.
All right. Well, that's the kind of question I never ask myself because I'm not quite sure how to handle that personal responsibility. I haven't gotten comfortable saying I did that. Those are 3 words that work out in enough small letters and no diction problems. But I just feel uncomfortable saying, "Yeah, man, I did that." I'd rather have those people who feel like that. I'd rather have them say that in capital letters out loud.
So you didn't have a moment, a gestalt, an epiphany where you said, "Hey, I'm the most recorded bassist."
Well, I can say that because that's the fact of the matter, but I think that doesn't allow my ego to get away from itself. I trust that the guys who keep hiring me, the people whoever they are, I trust that Russell Malone and Donald Vega of my trio, and Arian Mosnes and Donald Vega and Peyton Crossley and James Green of the quartet, and the 16-piece big band, I call my quartet, and Bill Charlotte, my solo piano player, duo partner, will answer that question much better than I can.
Well, thank you for making the effort, Maestro. I have a personal date somewhere around the late 60s or early 70s when my mind said, this is the greatest bassist that you're going to encounter in the course of your lifetime. And I've not changed in that opinion over the years.
Well, I'm sitting down now, or I take a bow to that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Al.
Mr. Marino, Tony Marino?
Yeah, Ron,
Yes.
I have a comment and a question.
Okay.
What my comment is I know on computers they have Intel inside. Did you ever consider putting something on all the albums that you played on, saying Ron Carter inside? I can't believe how many recordings are on that I've been listening to since I started playing many years ago. The other thing too is that, you know, your styles, everything you do is fantastic. What were your sessions like when you recorded with Hermito Pascal?
Well, he's Aramato. You know, he speaks no English, or nothing that's going to hurt him. You know, and so it was always a question of, could I figure out what you're trying to say in English, and his broken English and his poor Portuguese before the date was over. And because he was a wonderful player of all things, flute, you know, keyboards, you know, Brazilian percussion instruments, he trusted that I would find the right kind of rhythms and the right range of the bass to make my stuff work with whatever he played. It was always a challenge. I never knew what I was going to play walking in the door, other than it was a great Brazilian player who had a record date. Ayrton was on the date so we could always talk to Alberto with Ayrton's translating for both of us. You know, the only problem was that Alberto had poor vision, and his parts were written by someone with poor vision. I have good vision, and I hope that he'd make his poor vision notes big enough that someone who had good vision could read them.
Right.
And I'd have to have the patience to understand that, and I wouldn't make a big thing of, okay, let me fix this part for a moment. You mean this note here, the staff, that kind of details. He appreciated that I would do that for him, and I make a big thing of it. My big thing was, can I make this guy sound good as we speak?
That's great. You know, thank you for answering the question. I also really appreciate this opportunity. This was very generous of you. You know, it's really nice that you're doing this.
Thank you, and happy holidays to each one of you. And
Aviv's phone. Oh, sorry.
Good.
Aviv's phone has a question.
Okay.
What values do you look for in a musician?
That's a pretty grown-up question. So I have to say that for adults in the room now. I think, and this is a broad answer to a generally broad question. One is that, do they respect the bass player in the band, whoever he or she is? Two, does he respect me as I'm the bass player in that band? And three, is he willing to adjust what he does for him to meet the needs that I'm placing on him with my note choices and my rhythm choices? If I can't have those three things, we're in for a long night until someone changes up their groove. I don't mind being the guy who changes up, because that's what I do. I'm a freelance side person. But I'm good at that. You know, what I've been known to do is that I'll play the song as they wrote it for as many times as necessary. If you get past take 2 or 3, I try to play it as I think is better part for what he should have written for me. Sometimes I nail it. Sometimes I don't. One time, 1975. One time in 1990. You know, but I'm pretty good on everything else is okay. Okay.
Thank
you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Kaufman, Clifford Kaufman.
Hello.
Hello.
I recently interviewed Pat Metheny because I'm making a film about the drummer Bob Moses, and I was wondering two things. One, if you ever played with Bob Moses, and the other is what it's like when you play with Pat Metheny.
Okay, I know who Bob Moses was or is. I'm not sure he's still here.
He's still alive.
Okay, I do know his playing from back in the day, and at the time, back in the day was when I was getting busy doing other projects. So my time for doing things that were outside my work area, recordings, commercial stuff, miles, bands, I didn't have a chance to play with many of those guys back in the day. I did play with J.C. Moses. If if you know his name. And I played with Beaver Harris. Those guys whose names, if you don't know them, you should look them up. They really played great, and I love playing that style of music with them. What was your other question?
Talking about, yes.
Okay, I'm working with him next month, this month. It's from January 20 to January 29, 5 days at the Blue Note in Tokyo. So if you get on my next subscribers meeting, I can tell you then how it was.
Thank you.
You coming back?
Yes.
Okay. We'll do it anyway, but if you were here, it'd be fun.
Simon Law asks, how do you feel about political activism in music? Does music have a role to play?
I'm not how active a musician has to be considered an activist. I played benefits for several politicians. Obama, I played a couple with him, for him. I played several for local musicians who were going to be the council on a council of arts or those things. I've been very active in helping raise funds for these events. I'm not sure how political a musician has to be called an activist. That's not, so I can only answer that kind of question that fashion, you know.
Benny,
Penny, can we
yes,
go to Michael Hills?
sure.
I think that was one of the ones that we needed to go back to.
Moi. That's me.
Voilà.
Okay,
Yes.
Mr. Hill, you're on.
Okay, Ron, Linda and I, we really enjoyed your concert in Monte Carlo a couple of months back. Absolutely superb. I'm wondering why such a long opening medley of songs.
I think it's great. I want to nail you to your seat without speaking any more louder than I am right this moment. I like the idea of having a suite, S-U-I-T-E, of S-W-E-E-T music without my conversations having to talk to you into looking for this kind of evening. I've been doing that for a really long time. And Mr. Hills, I think, is one of the few bands who does that clearly as part of their presentation of the music. I think sometimes announcements can kind of disrupt the flow of the story that musicians try to tell on the stage. I think it stops the musicians who are playing their flow of musical information while this conversation is taking place between the audience and the band leader or leaders. I think when we get it right, Mr. Hills, it's a fantastic experience, not just for musicians, but for the audience who come there to not expecting that kind of presentation of the music. I think that when whoever attended that concert left, they didn't realize, one, that they'd been sitting straight in the chair for over 65, almost 75 minutes. And two, they would realize when they got home, how could these four guys, three of them sitting down, play such music and not be standing up?
Yeah, it was incredible. Thank you so much. I've got 1,000 questions, but you've got 1,000 viewers. So.
Okay, next time, we'll do this 1,000 more times, so.
Thank you.
But now we've got 5 adults in the room. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And one of them is CJ Campbell. Mr. Campbell, there you are.
Hey, how are you? Unmute yourself.
How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Good to see you.
How can I help you?
I just wanted to ask if you have any advice to young bassists who are looking to record their first record.
I think 3 things. I have a format, a plan that I've used whenever I've recorded my records as a band leader. And if these bass players who are about to do their first recording will have the time that they go to my site, Ms. Schellberg or Ms. Boundos can give you that. I'll send you or you to give to them my plan for making a record.
Send me an email, roncarterbassist@gmail.com, and tell me your name and that's what you need, and I'll send it to you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
And it's very successful, man. Trust the results in that process, because I've learned that process after making some records, and I've taken my experience from making those records to what I want to be responsible for and how responsible I have to be to make the project successful.
Yes, sir.
You need that plan. Just don't
Yes,
go
sir.
in there think you can jam all day and man come up with, no, man, that's TV. Come on. Hang on to that grown up metal you got there.
Yes, sir. All right. Nice to see you, sir.
Good to see you. How you folks?
They're good. They're good.
Give them my seasoned greetings.
I will, sir.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank you.
Mr. Stamwitz.
Hi. Yeah, first of all, happy and first and foremost, healthy New Year to everybody, I think.
Thank you.
I just wanted to thank you very much. I went to Bologna, to your concert in Bologna this year.
Yeah.
I'm from Germany, and I was doubting if I should go all the way, but it was kind of a life-changing experience. The next week, I borrowed myself a bass from my local music school to start with the bass, so it's going slowly but surely.
I know that feeling, man.
Yeah, for in the fingers, the chords you need in the fingers, it's quite a challenge at the beginning.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask you if, like having played with so many people in the past, is it now easier to adopt to different styles and different people with all that experience, or is it always kind of the same amount of challenge to face every time?
It generally is the same amount every time. Mr. Stamwitz, I'm always amazed that these various band leaders of various musics, knowing how many choices they have in bass players, and how easy it is for these bass players, male or female, to get to New York. They had these almost 2,000 band leaders over 45 years have decided that I'm the one person for their project. That always stuns me, and it always amazes me. And my job to make sure that they made the right choice. Whatever musical is necessary to make that work on my part, I make sure I go home feeling I did that. And I look forward to that kind of challenge, whoever they are, and whatever they bring to the table, because at that time, I'm the only bass player in that band. And as they understand what my role is supposed to be, I try to make that a positive experience for them, a learning experience for me, and fun for everybody.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And thank you also for the opportunity to ask you these questions.
Okay. My comment, get a teacher, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's better for your hands than for your head.
Mark Valentin asks, Maestro, what is your opinion on the bass clef omnibooks that feature bass as a lead instrument? The accidentals are intense.
I don't know that book, so I have to find it before I can give you an answer for the next subscription meeting. If you leave the books you refer to with the site here, I'll have them in my hands, and hopefully by the time we meet again, you'll be probably adult number 6. And I will have an answer for right now. I don't know those books at all.
Yeah. Email roncarterbassist@gmail and explain this and send us the books, and we'll have it for next time. Okay, Anusan Balachandran. I think I did that right. Before you sit down and practice, how do you get yourself prepared from a mental, physical, and spiritual level? For example, how do you prepare your mind to not let it get in the way when practicing?
That's a kind of question I have to answer and not sound sarcastic. So if you feel that vibe, don't bring it to this conversation. The first thing I do is to make sure that there's no construction going on in my neighborhood. Con Edison in New York, they make a lot of noise all day until it gets dark out. And I'm trying to play against the guy with the jackhammer in the street, or the garbage guys doing what they do. You know, I try to find my first thing is try to find a space in my neighborhood whose sounds won't bleed into my house, my apartment, my room. The second thing I do is make sure that I have a plan. What am I looking for when I practice? What method am I using? What books am I reading? What am I preparing for? Do I have a gig that requires me to learn that part for that particular recording session or band gig? How's the bass sound today? In New York, the weather's changing every day the temperatures. In New York, it's like 36 today. Next Tuesday, it's going to be at 57. The bass is going to change physically in that period of time. Can I pick up my bass and realize how different it feels right now? I haven't played my bass in 4 days, and already the bass has gone from here to here, so the strings are lower than they normally are. Now, am I going there and try to make the strings lower by the things on the lifters, or am I going to practice with some music and let this work out itself, and it will change as the weather or the temperature of my apartment change? Number 3, I look for 1 hour. I think I'm practicing long enough to know how to discipline myself that 1 hour will be very valuable. I'm not going there to learn to ask a pedal lick or to imagine I'm on playing with this guy with that kind of bass. No, that's not productive for me. I want to make sure that I have the skill level to find the notes that I want to play and the notes that this composer wrote who's not a bass player. When I get all that done, it's time for lunch. And I don't mind stopping for lunch. Okay?
Rotem Aloof.
Hey, sir.
Hey.
Raise
your hand so I can see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. Thank you.
Put your hand up so he can see you on the screen. He knows who you are.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
That's
gotcha.
okay. Okay.
Hands up.
So, first things first, I just wanted to say that hearing you play with Jim Hall and Alone Together, it was life-changing, really. And my question is, how do you make your instrument kind of an extension of yourself? Like, I have all these great ideas and phrases that I want to play, but it's hard to spit it out on the instrument. Like, what do you think?
Okay. How old are you?
17.
Okay, how many teachers have you had?
Private teachers, I think 3.
Yeah.
About 3.
3. Why do you have 3 teachers and say you're only 17? You've been moving around, or they quit town, they retired, what? And ask this question to find out how much exposure and how much playing you've had really on the bass. If I get those answers, I can tell you best how to answer your question without saying you're not young enough to know that kind of answer. Or your skill level doesn't allow that kind of emotional freedom for you to use to play the bass because you don't know how to play the bass yet. So I'm trying to avoid that kind of flat out answer. I want to depend on you telling me some of your experience on the bass. I have a good bass. I'm learning how to play with an amp. I had a lesson last week. I mean, I'm not taking lessons right now. I mean, stuff that gives me information that which I can answer your question without hearing you play. Right now, it sounds like you're at 17. You're starting to get some ideas on what you want to do, but your skill level doesn't match your ability to play those ideas. Now, don't feel offended, man. You want a good answer?
No.
I'm the guy. But have a seat, and let me tell you how I really feel. Now, I think the first thing you have to do, Rotem Aloof, is get a teacher and stay with this teacher, hopefully for the next 2 years. That means 1 lesson a week, every week, unless holidays, something like that. I want you to get into the habit of looking for a learning experience at every lesson. At these lessons, your skill level should increase enough to let you understand whether what you're looking for can be found on the bass. Secondly, if you're not to where you can play with other guys and gigs because you have no skill level yet, no chops, no calluses, Start to find someone you can play with on the if it's only a guitar player, a piano player, it's only once a month. You got to do that once a month. So you understand how is it to play with someone else whose concept may not necessarily be in line with yours. Thirdly, listen to a lot of bass players to see how they solve the problems of the bass. I don't mean playing the bass, just the problems. Are the strings too high, too low, the curvature of the bridge is too much, whatever it is. They aren't loud enough or too loud. Those kind of details are things that make you able to discover and decide where in this spectrum of bass players you want you to be. And fourthly, enjoy finding the right notes, because when you do that, it's a great sound and a great feeling.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Penny, we got a moment here. And then let me give these people plus the 5 adults a late Christmas present. So you 5 guys, don't go away. One
Okay,
woman.
the rest of us will stick around
right
too.
back, yeah.
That's okay. Anyone's questions we didn't get to? I'm sorry. I tried to get to as many as we could, but save them up for next time or email us.
Yeah,
And
you can email
we'll
us.
get to his answer by email.
Yep,
roncarterbassist@gmail.
Yep, they will get in front of Maestro 100%. He
Right.
is very involved in everything. So
Yep.
Thank you guys. That's so terrific.
And just so you guys know, you're getting an email tomorrow. There are a few things left that we wanted to give subscribers the first crack at before we just put it on social media and tell everyone. So there are a few ties left over, and there are some autographed art posters. So that'll be in your inbox tomorrow.
Is this going to be sent out, the recording?
Yeah, it
or is
will
that gonna
be
posted?
posted in a few weeks. They're all on Maestro's YouTube channel.
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you for asking and participating.
I hear music.
Beautiful.
I love Joy to the World.
Maestro!
Joy to the World. That was beautiful.
Thank you, Maestro.
Thank you.
Now it's time for my lunch.
Thank you very
So
much.
good.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you very
Carter.
much,
Thank you,
Maestro.
Benny.
That was awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year's, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy holidays.
Awesome.
Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
holidays, everybody.
Wonderful.